Well, I'm in a new room now. Let's see how this goes. Hey guys, it's model making time. Today we're looking at something that I've not really had much experience with. Yeah, I've been around it for a long time. Figurines. Yeah, this is something that is definitely gonna have a hold on. Figurines or busts tend to focus purely on that object itself, so whether that be a mythical being or creature or a real life person or creature, it's sort of different to doing scale. Soldiers, for example, that might be in a combat environment. You will see a lot of busts around model shows and they tend to be of like historical figures. On the flip side though, you do get them for fictional characters as well. I've seen some, for example, from the 40k universe, for Lord of the Rings, from World of Warcraft, and for Marvel. In fact, if you saw my Scale Model World video, you'll see that there are actually a lot more of these around now. People are really getting into sort of the fictional side of figurines, which, you know, can include things like Marvel characters, which is awesome. I guess the most mainstream version of this will be Disney characters, and a lot of people will have sort of bought and made Disney figurines in their time. I know when I was a kid there was like a plaster kit where you could fill a mould with sort of plaster and then paint your own Hunchback of Notre Dame characters, because that's the one I had. But really the closest thing I've ever had to this is going to be Warhammer. I used to be a Warhammer fanatic and I had a Sisters of Battle Army, or Adaptus Sororitas. I've still got it, it's all original metal, but I don't play anymore. I've just kept it out of nostalgia. I also had an Eldar army that I never really properly used. And prior to that, I had a Legion of the Damned army. But I mean, I'm talking like 15 years ago. My god, I feel old. The difference between that figure and the one I'm doing today will be sort of a realism scale. So if you think about it, 40k is sort of on the verge of, I'd say, comic book style. Things tend to be sort of relatively over-exaggerated, and as a result you have that scale of epicness and movement that comes from sort of the almost cartoony shading that you do have. At least that's my view of it. The figure we're doing today is meant to be a real life representation of a French Republican Guard. So less cartoony, more I'm a real person. How did I get to this point? Well, I'll tell you. I was shopping in TK Maxx, or I guess a lot of you may know it as TJ Maxx, and in the middle of the store they have these plinths and they're just full of like random gifts, and there were some Revell kits there. And I didn't know Revell even made figures, and I found a ship and I was like, maybe I'll get this, I just want something different to do. And then I saw this French Republican Guard and I was like, wow, hello there. It was like $12.99 or something, so I picked it up, grabbed it, took it to the checkout and brought it home with me. I'd never made a figure before, but I thought, hey, it's cheap. Turns out I looked up afterwards and yeah, I actually did get it for a relatively good price, so that's always a bonus. I knew the construction of the kit probably wasn't going to be the issue. Construction of figurines tends to be quite straightforward. This was no different. You'll see that in the unboxing. I knew for me, the main challenge was going to be, you know, painting it in a way that looked somewhat realistic. It was scary, I'll be honest. I'm always scared of doing people because I find it quite embarrassing how bad I am at doing people. Like, it's quite a vulnerability for me, hence why it has such a grasp over me. Well, I was conquering that fear today, and I guess I'll let you judge me and how poorly I did or how well I did. I'm assuming this video probably isn't going to do massively well. It's very different from what I normally do. I normally do aviation related content. So if you do like what you've seen today, please make sure you like the video and comment and share it. If you're not subscribed already, subscribe. I put new videos out every Monday at 7:30 PM and I also stream on Sundays, generally around 4:30 PM. At least on most Sundays anyway. A girl's gotta have a life, right? So let's have a look at the unboxing. Yeah, really excited to do this. I think we'll look at, let's have a look at this first. Wait, there are decals on it? Okay. Oh wow, this is so different to like a normal kit. And the construction is actually like really simple. Does it come with a base? Yeah, it does. Okay, cool. Okay. So unfortunately, the actual recording got cut off, so you've got me talking over it, but you get these 4 bases that were included. They look really, really cool. I let chat choose which one I was going to use. I think basically there are 4 for the 4 sets that they have, which all have slightly different basings, so that's the only reason for that. It must be weird seeing my hands here and in there. The sprues themselves, there aren't many. It's a really, really, really basic kit. You can see the torso comes in 2 parts, you've got 2 legs there. that sort of join into the sort of pelvic structure, and you've got the head that you have to assemble and the hat that goes on top of that, and then some extra detail. So this is a really straightforward kit. There's not much to it at all. So as you can see, there's not really a lot to do in terms of the construction. This is mainly going to be a building piece, and I'm going to give a word of warning because, you know, I'm filming this after I've already done it. I did lose a piece on the hat. There's like a feathery bit, and that's just completely gone because I just, you know, may have flicked it off into the ether, and I've moved rooms since then. I've still not found the piece, so I'm assuming that one's gone to the vacuum. I also didn't have the gold paint after I'd sort of done my initial pass on this because it dried up. We'll go into that later. Anyway, let's get into construction and painting. Well, onto the construction of this. The construction's really quick actually, so we don't spend an awful long time on the construction. I say it's a really straightforward kit. You pretty much bang the torso together, pop the legs in together, you've got to add like the swords and stuff, but other than that there isn't really a lot to do. And probably that feathery bit that pinged off at one point and was never seen from ever again, and I don't think I ever will see. I think it's been lost to the vacuum, as I said before, so that is what it is. I wasn't going to cry about it, it didn't add a lot to it. But I'd say the fit of this went really well together. You didn't have to do a lot of sanding. There are some bits on the swords, we'll discuss that later on, but other than that, I thought this was fantastic to put together. As my first ever figurine, it was a lot less overwhelming than I expected it to be, which I really appreciate, so good job on that, Revell. You did awesome. Putting the stand together as well was nice, and I didn't even know it would come with one because I know some figures don't. So that was a nice change as well. I primed the model itself, as you can see, and I left the stones basically as they are the entire time. They just looked perfect, to be honest. Painting it, I was using the colours that came with the set, but I actually had both the blues, so it was just blue and Lufthansa blue, and so I used my own versions of that because they were in a better condition than the kit ones. Some of the kit paints had sort of dried up, particularly the gold, and it didn't come with some colours as well, which I found really odd. It didn't give you everything you needed. So I did end up using some of my own. I think like the flesh colour I did my own, so you got given gold but not flesh. Like, what? So I ended up using some of my own colours, and I don't mind or regret doing that, to be perfectly honest with you. I think it's perfectly fine. I wasn't going to do it as just a kit build anyway, because you can't build a fantastic result for most of them. You end up having to make weird compromises. So painting the gold I found quite challenging. I don't think I actually have a good enough detail brush, and I think I need to invest in one. That's something I've learned from this, because I was really struggling to hit just the raised surfaces. It was really challenging, and the gold paint itself I'd had to revive. You saw me pour it into a glass pot because it just wasn't in good condition when I got it. But I think I did okay. There were decals you could take for sort of the details on the coat itself, but I actually chose to sort of just do it myself because yeah, I just thought, hey, I need to practice doing straight lines, I need to practice doing outlining, so I might as well do it myself, and I think it went okay. I probably should have used the decals, to be honest, to get a better finish, but you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that was pretty much all I got to. There wasn't really a lot more left to do on the actual model itself, other than just some minor details. Well, before we go into completely demolishing what I've done on this kit, let's have a look at the model. I don't think it looks too bad, but let's talk about the obvious point. The fear in his eyes. My god, he looks like he's literally just seen a zombie rise up from the ground and take revenge. He looks terrified. I've never made someone that looks so scared, but here we are. I did try and fix it, I tried my absolute best, but I don't know. I didn't know what to do. I tried adding some like more shading around the eyes. I tried making the eyes smaller, and whatever I did, I just couldn't fix it. So let me know in the comments below how I can fix this. I might practice on it later on, because I think otherwise the face actually looks okay. I've got some different colouring here and here and here. I sort of followed how I do my makeup in order to try and give it some depth and some feeling, but I don't know. Let me know how you think I did, other than the fact he looks terrifying, because we've already established he looks like he's just seen like the undead. I did add some inks, and I don't think it added that much, probably because I had brown and black inks. I really needed some sort of dark purple ink, I think, and that probably would have added some more vibrancy and sort of sunk into the sort of creases better. And to be honest, I probably should have done more of a pin wash with the pinks that I have, but you know, the lessons that have been learned. I didn't use the decals either. I tried to do some practice with detailing with the belt and sort of the details on the back of the coat. You have decals for them. I just chose not to use them because I wanted to try and paint them myself, and I don't think I did a bad job. I think it would look a lot better with the decals, but again, I wanted to practice that, and if you never do it, you never know. So that is just what it is. There were some bumps on the swords that I had left, and I chose not to try and file them off because, again, not very experienced with really thin plastic. I might do it after I've done this video just to get practice, but I was really scared of just like damaging it. I do need to get a new craft knife, one that's a lot better and sharper, so I can really easily take care of those parts, but I mean, again, it's something I've just learned. I did mention the gold paint earlier, so here's what's happened. The gold paint dried up, and I put it into a different pot, and I stirred it with some aquacolor mix and some water to try and help bring it to life, and it did work, and I got the gold on that. But when I went back to it, it all dried up. Now I've got orange paint from when I made Menopause's NF5 for the Double Dutch display team, and that's still fine, and that's in the same pots. So the gold paint was clearly already sort of dried up or faulty when I got it, and it's just not survived, unfortunately. Overall though, I think it looks okay. I've got him sat in the middle of the aircraft at the Partout de France in my display case, so I've got the Frecce Tricolori Partout de France, and then I've got his figure in the middle, and it looks pretty cool. I don't think I'm going to be in a massive rush to do a figure again, but at least I'm not scared of it now. I think I have conquered. So, you know, that's always a good thing. If you've liked what you've seen here, please hit subscribe, it really does help me out, and like the video. If you didn't like it, well, I guess dislike it. Please leave a comment below. What figures have you done, or what are you trying to do this year that you haven't done so already? Thank you so much for watching, I really appreciate it. See you later. Bye! Thanks for watching the video, I really appreciate it. Hit the subscribe button and notification bell to be notified of every new video on Mondays. You'll also be able to see me stream live on YouTube. Thanks again, I really appreciate it. Have fun modelling!